Ooh, baby brother, are we recording? Let's get it. Let's get it, bro. Let's get on some skate, bro, and let's get right. Brothers and sisters, we are about to convene. All right. All right. Login cues. We are back. We're back. We are back. I don't know if I can even incorporate this in the push, if I'm being honest with you, because this is just part of the game, man. This is part of the game when you are trying to make something new, and it's at this level of hype, bro. When there is this much hype on it, yeah, man. You getting put in the queue, bro. It just happens sometimes. All right. We are officially in. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to get right. We are about to say everything that needs to be said about the brand new Skate video game, man. Y'all like the fit. I had to get like little bro here, man. I had to try and get like my dude here. But nah, man, it's looking good outside, bro. It's looking real good outside. Even though it's raining today, it's looking good, bro. With that being said, we are officially... It's Friday. Skate came out on Tuesday, which means there's been 3 full days of gameplay for this game to do its thing and slowly but surely build its momentum, right? We have had more than enough time to see what is and isn't, and now it's time to talk about it, man. It's time to convene. Let's get right, ladies and gentlemen. Hype me up. Hype me up. We're about to do it. Y'all didn't even know I had this gear, but we're about to do it. This all stems from the day that this game came out. I actually live streamed, and I was going to do this all live. I think it's better that it didn't play out that way, and we're going to get into it. But I was going to just kind of give my opinions live. Just play the game, talk about it a little bit, and then see truly where I was feeling, where we were sitting at after the release of the new Skate video game here. But with that extra time, I think we've had a lot more time to let things simmer, right? Now we've let the broth soak in a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Now we got the flavor. With that being said, you need to go skate. There's a reason for that. Because there's the kick, the push, and the coast. But before we get into the kick, push, and the coast of skate and talk about all of it in all of its duality, I need to kind of explain to you guys who maybe aren't as familiar how things that are made by committee works. Whenever you are working on something by yourself, the process of how it's going to get made is inherently different than when other people are involved. It just is. When you have other people involved, there are multiple voices all trying to do the same thing. They're all trying to work together to do one thing. It's extremely hard. Whenever you have something, you start with the battery. In the human case, the battery, and we're just going to use cars and vehicles as the metaphor here because I'm a motorcycle technician. It makes sense to me. If you can't get it, it's all good, but it's all going to make sense. We start off with the battery. The battery is the most necessary part for the operation of the vehicle because it is what gives it life. Is how it draws its power. The battery in this case is the person who had the idea initially. There was one guy who worked with EA, for EA, or in conjunction with EA at some point, and he had the idea of how to bring us skate in the modern day. The trilogy had already been made, EA had made their money. I 100% wholeheartedly believe there was a man who just had an idea of all the things in his head, because he's one of us. He was a player like us who just loved the games, and he wanted to see this thing finally come back and be in a form factor that other people could enjoy here. The battery. The battery is necessary for anything that you've ever loved or actually cared about to get made. That's the writer. That's the poet. The person who makes it happen. The guy with the actual idea. Now the guy who actually makes it happen is the engine. The engine in this case is EA as a corporation. Yeah, it's no one's favorite part, and messing with it's kind of stinky and sucks because parts get gummed up, and when they do, you got to tear that thing apart. But yes, the engine. The engine is the actual heart of the machine. It's what makes it work. It's what gives it its power once the battery has kicked the starter motor and the thing's ignited. Right? That's how we're moving. That's how we're going. It's a necessary evil. Right, EA is a necessary evil in the flow of this particular product because they own the property. It is theirs. They have all the rights to make it what it is, but it doesn't stop with the engine, because even an engine can't run without gas. Gas are the good men and women who are spending every single hour of their waking lives right now working around the clock to keep developing this experience for you. That's who the gas of all of this is. Those are those people. Those people are what make this possible, right? So then what's left in this metaphor is the driver or the rider. That's us. We're the ones who buy the product. We see the car, we see how it looks, we see the motorcycle, we're like, dang, that's dope, and I really want that in my life. We go, we buy it, and we're the ones who ultimately use it to get where we're trying to go. To have those experiences with our friends, family, and all the people that we rock with. And yeah, man, that's how this all works, from idea to consumer. Whenever you are making anything by committee, that is a super dumbed down way of explaining how the process of it even getting to you happened. Right? We need to have this in mind when we get into the actual meat and potatoes of what we need to talk about here. So let's go ahead and start with the kick. Oh, I love having notes, bro. I love having notes. This makes the freestyle so much more consolidated. I did try doing a take of this video the other day where I had absolutely no notes, and I was cooking for about 20 minutes. Everything made sense for about 20 minutes until it got to the last part, and then I just sounded schizophrenic. So even for something like this, I ain't a naked Jakey. I'm not out here making an essay, but I do need a guideline in order to keep the flow of this conversation, man. So the notes is coming in clutch right now. Let's start with the first talking point, man. A major studio gave us a game that we were actually asking for in the year 2025. I know that this isn't some clap and everyone celebrate. That's just what should have been happening this whole time. But I'm telling you right now, we have fallen into a culture of video gaming where that isn't the norm. Not anymore. Big corporations who have monetary incentives are going to make what backs the numbers. They're going to make the game that backs the numbers. These numbers tell me this needs to get made so we can get more numbers. That's how a lot of the video games we've been seeing in the last 5 years even got to us in the first place and started their development cycle. There was no battery behind those games. There was just a need to make money. It's a form of a battery, but it's not one that's going to sustain itself, and it's definitely not going to allow you to have a properly functioning vehicle. So, yes, man, we got the game that we actually asked for after a decade. That's a dub, bro. Hype us up. We need to hype us up for that one, bro. That's pat us on the back, bro. We're listening to each other. That's good. EA, good. And to boot, they didn't just throw a sticker on something that already exists and give us the experience again. Yes, bro. Yes. That is good. What I'm saying by saying that is, this game, I don't develop video games. I spent a little bit of time learning how to code when I was younger, doing some comp sci stuff, but I am by no means a game dev, and I don't know the steps that go into making one. But what I do know is that just sheerly off of appearance, this game has been built off of an entirely new engine. And they still managed to keep all of the same core mechanics and features that Black Box had in their original video game. That is awesome, bro. That is absolutely dope. Shout out my homie Push and Blaze, bro. But yeah, so dub. Another dub, bro. Let's go ahead and clap it up. They did their thing, and they actually did what they said they were going to do, bro. They made a new video game with interesting mechanics based off of something that we already had. Another huge positive that I just have to say, being someone who is regularly the idea guy in a lot of situations, the guy who is the battery behind this game is fighting tooth and nail. Still, like right now, as I'm making this video, you can tell by how much love and care has been put into this game that the guy with the idea did not just stop at making his little cut and selling it to the highest bidder, man. They are fighting their hardest to make sure that this game receives what the community wants, and I can tell every single time that I boot it up, bro. Thank you, bro. Thank you for that. Yes. This is what we like, bro. Yes, bro. Now, let's get into the actual, kick of the game, bro. Let's get into the actual parts of this game that I'm rocking with, bro. First of all, I need to start with the fact that that was not Steezy at all. I'm not living up to the name, bro. By the way, you ever see me in the streets, it's Steezy Ump. What's up with you? Yeah. But yeah, man. The gameplay is actually busting on a level I don't think anyone could have anticipated unless you were one of the beaters who got to play the game beforehand and was like, you know, doing all the stuff with EA, working behind the scenes with it. This game is awesome, dude. Like, from a gameplay standpoint, let me just show you something that did exist in previous skate games. Not to this level, bro. And let me see if you can recognize what it is, bro. Right? And then let me do this. Are you joking right now? I can be Steezy and skate, bro. Look at my little dude right now, bro. Look at how smooth he moving right now. All because it's taking my actual stick input and dynamically reading what I'm doing, not just the fact that I'm doing it. That's awesome, bro. That's awesome game design that we do see. It's not like no one has ever done it, but they did it here. And they could have not done it here, and I'm very glad that they did. What this does is it opens up opportunities for you to express yourself as the player, as the driver. I play the game differently than other people because my hands are different. They're doing different things with this controller, bro. I'm not the same guy as the next guy. When I do a trick, it's not going to look the same as the next guy. That's real skating. That's what actually happens when you go to the park and you watching that one homie. It's like, dude, when he shoves, it's so steezy, bro. Just watch. And everyone, it's art, bro. It's straight up art. You have given people the opportunity to express themselves through their gameplay. Bro, come on now. That is dubs. All dubs, bro. Dubs in the shot, bro. Straight up. Next, this is something that I actually stumbled across this morning. I'm going to go over here and just show y'all. I'm not going to do it perfectly this time because I spent like 20 minutes trying to get the clip, right? Bro, just check this out, right? Look at my little dude. I'm out here free running and skate, bro. That's parkour in a skate video game. Are you joking me right now? I know that seems irrelevant to a lot of people who are here for the skating of this video game, but as someone who is an idea guy and I see the potential here. My favorite types of video games that I own and play personally are flow state video games, much like skate and how it has always been, where you have a gameplay loop, you have your mechanics, and then you get to sandbox what you're doing with it. Another game that recently came out that's in its earliest stages of development is called Store. It's a parkour free-running video game. It's dope. It has a lot of the same energy as this, but it's heavily fixated on the free-running elements. With the fact that I can go climb giant skyscrapers like the one behind me, and I can go do stuff like skate in this little bowl auditorium situation here. Endless gameplay possibilities. For the dude like me, who is the squirrel guy who will just go off on a tangent, is not following the missions half the time. Endless, bro. Endless gameplay possibilities. And I think if you refine these mechanics and make them even more smooth, because like, little homie already looking kind of smooth, bro. He looked like a free runner. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of some free runner, like, it looked cool. You add that extra little bit of animation steez to it, we're on a whole new level of gameplay, brother. That's just GTA with skateboards. That's Grand Theft Auto without the stealing and robbing, brother. I'm here for that. I'm here for that every day of the week, man. And I can do it with 100 people? What are we talking about, man? Yes, bro. Yes. I'm giving the flowers as they are due, bro. Yes. Another thing that I think is a huge benefit that we've already kind of touched on just a little bit here, but we need to continue to touch on, is the fact that this is a live service video game. I know no one was expecting to hear that, but hear me out here. Because the fact that this is a live service game that this company fully plans on having dedicated staff to support year-round, there is endless opportunities outside of even the gameplay and core mechanics to just keep expanding upon what is already here. You can go get Port Carverton and drop it in as a DLC map. You can add game modes that have nothing to do with this. all the story features that all you old school, old head skate fans, you can get your Fortnite Save the World as we get further into the development cycle. As they develop this game and finish the dev tools, they could start releasing them to the public to allow people to start modding and incorporating their mods into the finished version. I'm like instantly just like rattling with ideas because they've chosen to go the live service route. And in a game like this that is extremely single player gameplay focused, to have that extra bit of like sauce on it, I know they had to do this inevitably because the Battery can't just have it his way and go make a single player skate game and charge people $40 like it's the olden days. EA as a corporation is notorious for just pumping out shriveled up garbage and giving it to the kids, bro. Let's just keep it a bean. They have built that reputation on the shit bricks they used and made themselves. All right, this is not an indictment on EA. We don't got to do the lambast, all right? We're all aware of this. Why I'm saying that is because in this particular instance, the Battery, the guy with the idea at the end of the chain who's just trying to make an awesome skate game, that guy somehow managed to convince EA that it was their idea to do this when it really was, and still made it an interesting thing that can benefit the game. That's what I mean by the Battery. He working overtime. I know it's not just one guy, it's a group, but whoever those people are, bro, I see you, bro. As the dude who's constantly trying to get something done, I see you, bro. Good work. Good work. We are making progress here. And even if we want to go further into the gameplay mechanics, I know we are so far from this game even being done, we don't need to start talking like this. Brother, you want to talk about free running? Give us a couple more controls and options in our menu and you now have a free running game in a skate video game. You already have, let's go over here to Exhibit B, gangster. Homie, you already got the bikes, you got the textures in the game. You lower that seat post, make it a BMX geometry, all of a sudden this isn't just a skate game. This is an entire skate park simulation. This is a whole other thing, brother. I'm just saying, we don't got to even go that far. That's 10 years in, I get it. You know, we got time and we got things to get done now. But I'm just saying, because of the fact that we have year-round support and people who are dedicating themselves to keeping this alive, options for things like this are already on the table. That doesn't mean they're going to be taken, but they're there. I'm happy that they're there. For the first time in a long time, they are there. Bro, yes. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Thank you. And another thing that is a result of this live service model, you already saw it in action, bro. Let me turn around. What's homie Carl Hensky getting up to, bro? I can go check it out. LeBron doing his thing, bro. I can just pull up on skaters who are doing their thing like it's a real skate park, bro. That is awesome. That is awesome. My favorite part of being a kid, loitering and doing stuff, I wasn't a great skater. I'm throwing up a nasty looking shove it and a failed kickflip on my best day, okay? I was never that guy. But when I got to go to the skate park and watch the homies or film the little parts or do whatever and just be part of the culture, yeah, man, you just pull up on the homies. That's what you do, bro. You pull up on the homies. You go have a good time, see what you gonna get into. Yes, I love the fact that I can just out of nowhere, let me go ahead and put a ramp down here, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be that guy. But in the opportunity where I was raising up this group of people and we are all having a gameplay experience together, now we're making skate parks together and having fun playing and doing this thing that is unique to this one-time experience we are having right now because we have gameplay options. Dude, like this is all dubs, bro. This is all positives. This is all ability to go forward from here, bro. I'm very excited. With that being said, we need to get into the push. Bro, and it's still going. This is perfect. This is crazy. This is awesome. We just need to have a conversation about the disaster that was launch day. Let's just keep it honest, bro. Launch day was a disaster, and I literally streamed it live to the general public. The stream is not available on my channel anymore. I think I can go fish it out and post it. If I can, I will. I don't know if I had the little save the replay thing on. I'm gonna just keep it honest. We sat there for 2.5 hours just trying to load in to the tutorial line. Once I got into the tutorial island, I got stuck there for another 30 minutes, shut the game off, got stuck in another wait queue, and then got into San Vansterdam. And I'm going to keep it honest, that only happened because I fought through the wait queues in the game crashing for, again, that literal whole 3.5 hours. That was also after I downloaded the game for a second time because the EA copy was just bricking me out of getting into anything, and I was live. So I had to then wait for the Steam copy, which came out late, to then download that copy, finally get in the game, and then have that experience. That's a wild first day of gameplay. I'm going to just keep it honest. Regardless of the early access, regardless of the whatever, that's a wild situation to find yourself in as a fan of something who's just trying to support, bro. I got to keep it honest, bro. This isn't a good or bad. This is the push. I'm getting pushed off the servers before I can even kick. Doggy, what's up, dude? What is up, man? We can't be doing that on day ones. The reason we can't do that, if I'm just being honest with you, there are a lot of people who are already ready to write this game off, and when their first impression of it is that horrific, the scars are going to be there. Not for everyone. There's the guys like me who are gluttons for punishment. We will keep coming back. I am not everyone. I'm a PC gamer. There's console gamers messing with this, brother. They're not trying to deal with that or hear any of that. So we gotta... There's nothing we can do now because day one's like already over. It's just over. So there's like nothing to do, but I don't know, man. So, yeah, man. Also, this is something that I have noticed over the course of these 3 days that is getting better. But there is a lot of bugs that need to get ironed out just from an actual, like, bouncing off of things and, like, just actual bugs. Like, not gameplay bugs. Literal bugs, like things that are immersion breaking, ruin the experience, and are only a result of the fact that this game is in its infancy. So even harping on those is kind of not fair because we do know this is early access. That's how it was built. That's how it was sold to us, and we all signed up. I'm not one of those guys who's then going to get confused when they hand me a bill after I just walked into a restaurant and ate. It is what it is, brother. It is what it is. But there is a lot of that. One thing that I don't know if it is a result of the bugginess is the crashing. I wanted to talk about that today of all days specifically because as you have seen, we have been on this game this entire time sitting up here chilling. We haven't crashed once. EA is doing what they can around the clock to keep making this better for us, okay? I haven't crashed once, but that was not the case for the past like two every day before right now and today, if I'm being honest. The first time I ever used the actual little... I didn't even know this was here. You can quit out of the game by going into the menu and pressing X. I didn't even know that was there because I literally used it for the first time this morning. I've only ever crashed out of this game and just decided to not boot it back up when I did. Because I had already crashed 5 times before that. My PC is not butt, alright? Yes, the camera's sitting on it right now and it's not getting the right Listen, man, I got a decent computer. It's definitely not the best, but it is not the worst. And if it's crashing out like this, it's a problem, Chief. Something's going on. And if you don't have a good computer, I could only imagine how many more problems you are experiencing. For context, I also ran Cyberpunk first day on a system that was not properly spec'd for the game and literally blew up a computer trying to enjoy that game. So I'm not someone who's going to get turned off by that type of thing. Those people are out there, and that's most people. Okay, most people are going to not like that, and they're just going to not come back. The crashing is like a hard line for most people. You're already doing it. Again, we in here. We in there like swimwear, all right? It's already getting better, but just keep getting better. That's one of those things like the glitches. Don't stop doing that. Just keep ironing out the issues, bro. Straight up. Now we're going to get into something that's not a bug, and this is just straight up broken. We got V up over here. I already turned her off. It is what it is. I'm not going to get into the whole... We're going to get into all of that later, but she's not a problem. V is not a problem. What is a problem is the fact that I am bricked out of this mission. I know that this mission is completable right now because I've gone online, and within like the first 5 hours of this game being available, these types of issues were so rampant that they were already flooding forums with people who had no solutions, who were just like, yeah, bro, you're not crazy. We're all dealing with this. It just is what it is. So it was one of those things where I was like, dang, son, all right, all right. But yeah, man, complete the finer grind mission. I know that it involves opening up your little tool menu, putting down a rail in the upper crust of, I forget the second region that unlocks in the game. I literally like researched this for like 30 minutes because I was like, am I tweaking? Like these missions just stopped activating and I can't get any further really in the progress of the game. So on the map, I'm technically kind of like hard locked out of half of everything that's going on. Because while yes, we do have dailies that open up that allow you to keep progressing and gaining experience so you can keep unlocking more parts of the map, the easiest ways to get those large chunks of XP that are going to get you where you're trying to go in San Amsterdam are going to be those story missions. And the fact that I can't even do any more of them, it's not great, dude. It's not great. And now let's get to that actual story. Listen, this is an early access game, bro. Were you expecting Game of Thrones? What is wrong with you, bro? Lock in. Lock in, bro. It's going to take some time before the thing is what it's going to be here. Before we, start getting into even reviewing a story that may or may not be there, let's give it some time, all right? Because I literally can't even play the whole thing. It's bugged out. So, yeah, I'm not going to do the whole AI this and... all this is... We don't even know what this looks like when it's done yet. So there's just that to add to that. Like, let's be chill here. Another thing that another YouTuber that I watch that has been like a legit skater in the community, you gotta go check him out. His name's Garrett Jenner. Dude was talking about it in one of his uploads because he's one of the guys who got to play test the game. Why am I able to come over here and get in on a skate jam, but I cannot challenge someone to a game of skate in a video game called Skate? Gangster, that is wild. That is wild work. That would be like the first thing that I added in here if I'm making a multiplayer skate game called Skate, bro. I'm just saying. And another little idea for you, have difficulty modes for it too if you ever have CPUs involved, where it's SK8, then you have Skate, then you have Skater, and you can even make longer words if you wanted to that I'm not thinking of right now. Also, call it Rochambeau if you really want to be a homie. What else am I thinking of? Just like little add-ons here. I don't know. But yeah, man, this is a wild setup here, bro. What I'm looking at right now is wild. Is what it is. What isn't wild is that we got all these people convening here chilling. This is dope. Again, this is awesome. I really like this. I'm very introverted in my life, but I have extroverted tendencies, gangster, and I'm trying to see what's good. Like, this is awesome that I can just go, like, meet these new people and have these experiences with them. Again, live service, it's a gift and it's potentially a curse. Let's get into that real quick. Let's talk about pirate software and the whole stop killing games thing because that's relevant here. This is a live service game, and depending on how legislation ends up playing out here, yeah, man, they can just pull the rug out from under you at any point and all this goes away, bro. Cut the black, and you're never back in San Amsterdam again. That doesn't feel great. I hope at some point there will be offline versions of this that are made available, or there will just be community support through, being able to keep private servers of the game alive. I hope the code releases some. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to shake out. Again, I really don't know as much as I would like to about game dev to be able to weigh in a little bit more accurately on that portion of things. But from what I am aware of, this can all go away at any moment, and that sucks. Because when I got gifted a PS3 recently, I went out to a local video game store and purchased a copy of Skate 3 for $6. You can't do that with something that's live service. Alright? There is give and take there. It is a huge plus from what I am seeing on my screen. It is a huge negative for when they decide they don't want it on my screen anymore. We just have to take it, again, the kick and the push here. Alright? Straight up. The last thing before we start getting back into the more ethereal concepts of this game, the loot boxes. Let's go over to the Extraverse shop because that's the only way we get it here, bro. I'm not shopping if I ain't with the homies, bro. That's a dope board. See, he got green trucks. I would have never seen that if I ain't come over here. But yeah, man, the Extraverse shop. No, it happened. No, it did happen. I was so scared. I was so scared it would happen, and it happened. That's so unfortunate. We're back. I'm using an old Elgato face cam because I don't feel like setting up my mirrorless camera for what is inevitably a short and kind of throwaway YouTube upload. I'm being lazy and I'm paying the consequences, gangster. This is what happens, bro. This is what happens, alright? Did it just completely cut out? No. No, surely not, bro. Surely not. Did it just cut out altogether? It's wild that that happened as I was saying that, too. Brody, please. I'm gonna give it one good college attempt to plug this thing back in and see if it'll come back on. I'm gonna keep it so honest with you. If it doesn't work, though, we're just gonna have to raw dog this without a camera. You've already seen my face. We are chilling. We got it back up. Round of applause, man. Even I'm out here troubleshooting, bro. We fixing bugs. Alright. Come on now. Talk to me. Get back to it. That was a short interruption, so I still got the train of thought. The loot boxes. Okay, so actually I'm just going to go down the whole list of everything in this shop, and we'll just talk about all of it. Founders packs, completely standard. Got a couple different variations of it, too, for all you Hall of Meat gangsters out there. Is what it is, bro. That's a standard fare. Nothing wrong with that. This, some dime t-shirts. I don't know what dime is. Nothing wrong with that, right? Everything that I'm seeing here right now gives you a meaningful way to not only have something that shows you were there at the beginning of this experience, but it also contributes back directly, giving more funding to the people who are trying to keep this thing alive. Nothing here is wrong. Everything here looks completely acceptable to me. I know that sounds ridiculous. This is a free-to-play video game. You have to remember this. It's okay to have an item shop in a free-to-play video game. Now we're going to get into the part of this. Oh, they got Skate and Destroy. Oh, those girl wheels go crazy. All right, we'll come back, bro. I'm a squirrel. I already said squirrel. Type beat. The loot boxes, bro. The loot boxes, okay? This is the part that is not chill, and I'm going to tell you why it's not chill. EA has been shilling loot boxes for over a decade now. The minute DLC became a thing, they were instantly trying to find the most lucrative formula to capitalize on people's worst tendencies that they have for themselves, and loot boxes are the literal manifestation of this. I am one of the original CSGO little kids who will go over there any money that could have been getting saved for college or whatever, just not getting spent on that, bro. I was spending it on that whenever I give my little $10, $5, whenever I could find it, scrounge it up, do something to get some money. I was spending it on CSGO skins. Not even good ones, brother. Battle Scarred Hype Beast. No knives, brother. Straight poverty, okay? And then you sell them a week later because you're trying to get a game anyways, and you're a kid who shouldn't have been gambling. The reason I have a problem with these loot boxes specifically, these ones are free. In older video games, even old skate video games, all of your unlockables were almost like presented like a thing that was already there that you had access to, but you just couldn't get to it yet because you hadn't earned the right. I love the fact that there is this much incentivized gameplay through meritocracy like this. I love this. What I don't love is that it is a loot box. So the kids who have no money who are going to get on this game and come up over here and start trying to skate, the only way that they're going to be able to unlock new drip for their skater is by gambling without even knowing. That's just, it feels intentionally nefarious. That feels like that came from the engine, not the battery, okay? That feels wrong to me. It just doesn't feel like a good setup to a good punchline. And the joke gonna turn out bad for somebody, okay? I just don't like it. But I do like that there is a bunch of really cool, even branded unlockables in these boxes. I'm old enough to be aware that I have no intention of spending money on this game because I'm just not at that point in my life right now. And I can enjoy a mechanic like this for what it is. It's free gambling, but it's free gambling. So tee up, bro. Tee up. Alright, camera's still going. Thank goodness gracious, okay? I also even like how these loot boxes are segmented by the area that you're able to claim the goods in. This is all very smart, okay? The way these loot boxes are incorporated into this game is almost as harmless as a loot box can be incorporated into a game, But what I'm trying to say is, by the fact that it is a loot box, which is like the brainchild of EA, Valve, and every other company who's min-maxing profits, it just feels wrong to me. It doesn't feel like it needs to be here. Keep the item shop, leave this stuff alone, and make the true unlockables unlockable. That's, if you're just asking me, you could even go like the Fortnite way with it and have a battle pass that has free unlockables throughout the season, and if you want the paid ones, you pay for those. At least there's not a gambling mechanic there for children to be having to interact with. That's not great, okay? I just don't like that setup. I just have to say that and harp on that specifically, because that's something that specifically is going to be a problem for somebody. So, yeah, man. Now let's get back into some of those more ethereal concepts like we were talking about with this game. Let's get back in the Mac City Skate. Oh, man. What's good, Maxter? What's good, gangster? My man, what's good? Yo. I may have ran into that guy before. I have no ability to... Yeah, my D-pad working. Yeah. My man. But yeah, so that again, just random guys popping in, giving me some good energy. I love it. We're so on top right now, baby. We are so back. But let's get into these more ethereal concepts with the skate game, okay? The marketing. The marketing for this game was absolutely atrocious. And I think, once again, because it came from a battery that was inherently good in trying to do the right thing, it was well-intentioned and still reached who it needed to. It just reached them in the wrong way and therefore had negative side effects that just quite simply could have been avoided if we didn't go about doing it this way. What do I mean by saying that? Let's get into it. Ooh, cheetah print, homie. Biracial butt hash. Okay. My man. Some dude you know. Straight up, dude. That is some dude I know now. Alright. But yeah, man. The marketing for this game was a very interesting choice because I'm just going to tell you how me, a longtime skate game fan who is the core demographic for this video game that they were trying to reach, how it reached me, how I perceived it, and why that is inherently a problem. By the way, that grind rail is dope, dude. I'm going to have to go hit that if I don't crash. But the marketing for this game was strange because back during the time when I still used like more prominent social media platforms like let's say a TikTok or an Instagram, I remember this had to be like 2 or 3 years ago. My memory, is powerful, but it is not perfect, so that could be incorrect. I feel like it was like 2 or 3 years ago I started seeing like little like clips from a officially branded skate page that was like EA owned of just like this little dude mobbing around in this like kind of sim, soft texture looking environment. And I was like, dude, that's what? Are you joking? They're actually making a new skate game? Like what? It was a hype. It was a hype moment. People were hyped. I was hearing stirs from the homies. People were seeing that were my age, who they were trying to get that information out to, and it was super hype. That's awesome. We're getting new skate. Eventually, we will be skating again. That is dope. So that's kind of how it played out. And then I wasn't really on social media like that. To this day, I'm pretty much off grid outside of stuff like this where I'm directly inputting or just enjoying the content. Like, I'm not on social media anymore, so I didn't really see any of the, like what they were doing or what they were trying to give to people after that. But what I did see was content that started coming out around the game before it was even released to the public being given to us by streamers, content creators, and just general overall well-known personalities on the internet. That did start coming into my feed because I do use YouTube. If that is social media, that is the one I do use. And I just use it to watch, support, and show some love, man. But yeah, man, I started seeing these videos and I'm like, what is Smitty doing playing skate? And why can't I play skate? Or can I? I don't know. There wasn't early access. I didn't look into it that much. I broke my arm recently. A whole thing. But yeah, man. So there's an early access. People are playing this game before it even comes out. And then about like 2 more months later, I start seeing videos from commentary channels. commentary channels that respectfully do not make gameplay content, do not review video games, or ever talk about these types of things, because that's how much of an impact Skate has, bro. Skate is that valid in the community. This game raised a generation of children. Okay, this is a serious undertaking. If you're choosing to make a new Skate game, that's not just, dusting off some random IP to make some extra money. You are bringing back one of the godfathers for many people and trying to make it relevant in the modern day. So, yeah, man, they had their finger on the pulse, even if they weren't trying to go back immediately and, beta test. They were very much so waiting for the release and ready to boot their consoles back up and seeing this content. Here's my problem. All of the people... hold on, yeah, camera's still going. We're bulling. Okay. All of the people that were chosen to play this game early were unfortunately content creators. Yes, I know. I think at some point there was eventually a beta that was just for... Because I think I was watching something. Garrett Jenner said something about a skate council, which means there's a group of dedicated Discord homies who've been doing this since Skate 3 dropped, and they never stopped. And obviously they went there first to go get their beta testers. So between them, the streamers, and then whoever else was super eager and got their hands on it early because EA let them and they found a way, those were the people that had access to this first. My problem is not that those people had access first, it's that EA allowed them to speak first. Now stay with me here. That is terrible marketing. And I'm going to tell you why that's terrible marketing. When I listen to someone like Smitty or a Garrett Jenner or someone who is very much so making their living off of internet content, this is what they do all day. They are on these things for love, literally the love of the game. This is how they make their money, bro. They're going to have such an inherently different opinion about what it is they're experiencing than the average consumer who's getting off of work and unwinding, bro. They just are. The critic always scores the movie differently than the audience. Have you not seen Rotten Tomatoes, brother? Have we learned nothing, okay? People are going to be having much different experiences based off of what it is they're trying to get out of the experience. And you gave it to the people who are min-maxers. What happens when you do that first is min-maxing. So there's going to be people who are going to go and they're going to show maximum love. They're going to see it for what it is. They're going to do everything they can to help. They're going to support. They're going to understand. And they're going to try and do their best to just be a part of something awesome. And then there's going to be the minimizers. The people who see it and they're instantly just they're like, what's going on here? What's the vibe? I don't think this is good. I saw a dude named Patrick CC. He's someone who I've seen make content on the internet. And since I make music here, he's someone who's come into my feed before. And I see him make a video about a skate game that he's never played, never done anything with. Maybe beta tested it because he's culturally relevant. But from the way he was talking in his video, brother had no experience with the game, saw what people were saying about it, weighed that against his own non-experience, and then formulated an opinion and gave that out to an over 1 million person subscriber base. Do you not see the weird rake that we all just walked into on purpose? What are we doing here? That makes no sense. And by the way that this game was marketed, once again, fully on purpose, it created some not so on purpose issues. How do I put this, bro? It just created some not so great issues. All right, we're going to leave it at that because let's get in, before we get into the coast of all this, let's get into a A-B scenario. Something I kind of wanted to do here because I thought about it while I was putting together my little, notes to kind of keep this freestyle on the rails, right? I want to go into a case where it actually works super well and a game that was trying to achieve something very similar did it to almost perfect success. And they took a completely different approach. That game is Oblivion Remastered. That is another game that was extremely formative in my childhood. I sat there and watched my dad play that game. I played that game. Then I went and played Skyrim. Then I went back and played Morrowind. And then I put 10,000 more hours on Skyrim and Oblivion, bro. I played so much of the Elder Scrolls growing up. Those games are immensely important to me, just like these ones. When I heard they were coming out with a new Oblivion, I was like, sister, y'all best get to snapping, okay? This better be top-notch material or I'm going to crash out. You better not violate one of my favorite IPs ever. The difference was, I found this out like a day before the game came out, and then I just went and bought it and had an amazing time playing the game because it was everything we wanted it to be. It was finished. The game played amazingly. All of the parts of the game that we, as the people who initially had these experiences and want to go relive them, they were all still there, okay? You still got to have all those janky interactions in a brand new HD, amazing, awesome Unreal Engine experience that Bethesda took their time and handcrafted for people and didn't cut any corners on. So when you drop that $60 on that game, you're like, money well spent, brother. Thank you. Here's to another 10K hours. You know, like, that's awesome. That was through trial and error of decades of not doing what the fans asked, masterclass in just shutting up and playing basketball, quite frankly. Sometimes with things that are of this magnitude, that have this much gravity in the cultural zeitgeist of gaming, it is sometimes better to just shut up and ball. Go ahead and throw down a couple dunks and then let people make their opinions after the fact. Who is this homie? This isn't even a person. That man texting, bro. I mean, you still a homie, though. What's up, gangster? But regardless, all right, so... Squirrel, man. I'm a squirrel, dude. What? Ooh, this is why I can't get... This is why I might need to script videos if I'm going to do them like this. But yeah, man. That was a masterclass in how you just shut up and hoop, bro. EA could have taken some notes, but they honestly couldn't have because that game came out and was told to the general public, like, literally, like, in a week. At least to the general public. The guys who, you know, aren't terminally online and just waiting for some good stuff to come out, you know? So, yeah, man, like, that one was, it was dope. And I had a lot of fun. And I kind of sped run the cycle that I went through waiting for this game in like 2 days with that game. And it kind of just forced me to swallow my pride, buy the experience, and be like, listen, before I start hating, let me actually go out there and play some ball my damn self. Let me see what it is I'm actually getting into here before I even say anything. And I went and had an amazing time playing that game, reliving it with my dad a little bit, and just chilling, bro. That's an experience I may not have chosen to have if I had 2.5 years to see the entire development cycle of the game, have every YouTuber that I've ever watched play Oblivion tell me why they do and don't love this new Oblivion, and then I get to pay $60 and then go, what? Like, come on, it just sounds weird. It sounds weird when I'm saying it because it's weird. It's a little weird. It was just a little weird. When I actually stopped, put together the marketing strategy for this video game, I immediately realized, yeah, man, it came from a good battery. It came from a good place. And that's why it inherently was good and served its purpose. It got to me. It got to the people that it needed to get to, but it wasn't as effective as it could have been because it wasn't as hard-hitting. It wasn't as unexpected, and it kind of gave itself a little too much runway to make mistakes. That's just, again, hey, don't shoot the messenger, okay? I'm just the driver, okay? Do not shoot the driver, okay? Now, let's get into the coast. This is where Unk takes the belt off, if I'm just being quite frank and honest with everyone, including myself. This is where the conversation is not as lighthearted, but it is at the exact same time. We are ungrateful. You, me, we are ungrateful, bro. This is some ungrateful, degenerate, I want an Oompa Loompa now ass energy that we carried for this game, and honestly, we should be ashamed. A little bit. Not a lot, but just enough to learn the lesson and then move on and not keep doing it, okay? This was a D- at best from the community when it comes to supporting something that we all know and love that needs our support, bro. Straight up. It was not our finest effort. And I don't mean the beaters who got to test the game, who were there the whole time, enjoying it, seeing what it was. I don't mean the guys like me who are on the game now, who were anxiously waiting day one and just waiting to make their own opinions based off the experience they had. I mean the Patrick CC style guys who said this is butt, even though I've never even seen it or seen a butt, and now I'm going to go over here and start hating. That's not cool, brother. That is not the move, brother. That's not how we need to get down. That is not how you play ball, quite frankly. And I don't think that it's too much to ask for you to be grateful in a situation like this, because I'm not asking you to be grateful to EA. EA's still making loot boxes, they still making whack video games, and they still doing things that are bad consumer practices. What I am asking you to do is to be grateful to the drivers and be grateful to, most importantly, the battery. The thing we've been talking about this whole time. There is a dude out there who said, I have a vision for a skate video game that can exist in the modern day and somehow still meet EA's consumer demands for their own monetary purposes. And I feel like I can mash those things together and get the homies back on the flip deck, okay? Straight up, dude. I gotta give props, and I'm grateful that that dude is out there balling his butt off, fighting for me to have such an awesome gameplay experience. I see you, brother. I don't know your name. I don't know who you are. I'll probably never meet you. Thank you for doing it, though, because now we're skating again, brother. It's a beautiful thing. And all it took was understanding that every bit of content on the internet had nothing to do with my actual one-to-one experience with this, and that I needed to go have a good time for myself and see what all the hubbub was about, and not just get deterred immediately when things weren't going my way. Are we still talking about skate? Either way, what it is that I'm trying to tell you is, hey man, sometimes you just gotta wait and find out. And I think I do actually want to go bar for bar, because I just did generally have some little talking points here. For this last little paragraph, thank you. The camera's still on. We are still in business. I just want to go ahead and bar for bar say the exact thing that I was thinking, because I do think that this sums it up the best. And I do think this is a good way to end the video. It's been your boy Mugen Sharp. There are good men and women working on this project who are very clearly pouring their everything into making it what it can be, but it takes time, and if you're impatient, ungrateful, and quick to anger when what you asked for isn't what you already paid $50 for a decade ago, then you're going to find yourself speed-running elderliness, and you won't get to enjoy your youth, and you will miss out on what could be your last chance to skate. So go skate, man. I'd love to see you on the streets of San Van, and you are missing out on getting to be part of building something that's a really cool experience that the kids will be vehemently defending, just like we were 20 years from now, is something that formed their childhood. Straight up, dude, it's right there. It's time for you to go skate again.